The Lost Book of Adam and Eve reveals a shocking truth. Good evening. If you like this type of video, subscribe to the channel and leave your like to follow more stories, like this one. It was a quiet night when I first stumbled upon something that would change my perspective forever. At first, it seemed like just another old manuscript, a forgotten relic buried in the depths of the internet. But as I read through its pages, I realized that what I had in my hands was a revelation, one that could challenge everything we think we know about our existence. The document, known as the Lost Book of Adam and Eve, was said to have been uncovered in the darkest corners of the web. Unlike the versions we are familiar with, this one contained details that had been hidden from the world for centuries. It spoke of a reality far different from the one we've been taught. A reality in which humanity was not simply expelled from Eden, but was deliberately imprisoned in a world designed to keep us unaware of our true nature. The text described a powerful force, an entity referred to as the Great Deceiver. Unlike traditional religious interpretations of Satan, this being was not merely a symbol of temptation, but the architect of an intricate illusion. According to the manuscript, when Adam and Eve fell, they did not just lose their innocence. They were cast into a controlled system, one that governs our thoughts, perceptions, and even our ability to question reality itself. I couldn't stop reading. The manuscript suggested that our world is a construct, a place where we are continuously reborn, trapped in an endless cycle of ignorance and forgetfulness. It explained that what we perceive as life is nothing more than a sophisticated prison, carefully designed to ensure that we never seek a way out. If true, this would mean that everything around us, the institutions we trust, the history we learn, even the very fabric of time, has been manipulated to reinforce this illusion. The more I read, the more I found connections between this idea and ancient spiritual traditions. Many belief systems, from Gnosticism to Eastern philosophies, speak of a veil that separates us from true enlightenment. Some call it the Wheel of Samsara, an unending cycle of birth and death that prevents the soul from escaping. What if these ancient teachings were all pointing to the same hidden truth? The manuscript also hinted at something even more astonishing. Eden was never destroyed. It still exists, but it is inaccessible to us because of a vibrational barrier, an energetic frequency that keeps us bound to this illusion. It claimed that if humanity could raise its consciousness, elevate its vibration, and break free from material distractions, we might be able to see beyond the veil and return to our original state. But this knowledge, the document warned, is dangerous. Those who begin to awaken are often silenced. Alexander G., the anonymous user who first leaked the manuscript, vanished shortly after publishing his findings. His online profiles were deleted, and all his shared files disappeared without a trace. Why? If this were just another conspiracy theory, why go to such lengths to erase it? I began to wonder. What if the greatest trick ever played on humanity was convincing us that we are powerless, that we are nothing more than fragile beings, bound to a reality we cannot control? What if the truth is that we were never meant to live like this, that we are, in fact, far more powerful than we've been led to believe? The manuscript described methods to break free. It spoke of ancient techniques, forgotten practices that could help us reconnect with our true essence. Deep meditation, prolonged silence, conscious prayer. Not the kind taught in religious institutions, but one that resonates with the original frequency of creation. It explained that these practices were not just spiritual exercises, they were tools to dismantle the illusion itself. As I delved deeper, I realized that many ancient civilizations seemed to understand this secret. The Egyptians, obsessed with the afterlife, believed the soul had to pass tests to escape the cycle of reincarnation. The Gnostics warned of entities known as archons, beings that feed off human ignorance and keep us trapped in this realm. Across cultures there were similar stories: fallen gods, deceptive serpents, invisible barriers separating us from the divine. Could they all have been describing the same thing? And if they were, then the final question became, who is truly in control? The manuscript suggested that Satan and his legions are more than just symbolic figures. They are the wardens of this prison, ensuring that no one finds a way out. But what if they are not the highest authority? What if there is something even more powerful maintaining this reality? I couldn't shake the feeling that we are part of something far greater than we can comprehend, that our history, our beliefs, even our fears have been carefully shaped to prevent us from questioning. The document claimed that time itself was altered when humanity fell, that before, we existed in a state where past, present, and future were one. But now, bound by linear time, we age, decay, and ultimately forget who we are. This would explain why deep spiritual experiences, near-death experiences, profound meditation, moments of enlightenment, often involve a suspension of time. Many who have had these experiences report feeling an overwhelming sense of knowing, as if, for a brief moment, they could see beyond the illusion. The manuscript suggested that the forbidden fruit was not a literal apple but a symbolic event, one that changed the vibrational structure of humanity. It caused Adam and Eve to become denser, more physical, trapping them in this lower plane of existence. If true, then our reality is not as solid as it seems. It is simply a frequency we have been conditioned to accept. If we are indeed in a lower vibrational state, then how do we return? The document stated that fragments of our original light still exist within us, but they are buried beneath layers of conditioning. This aligns with many spiritual teachings that emphasize the search for the divine within, rather than external salvation. But there is a problem. We have been taught to fear such knowledge. Many religions warn that questioning the nature of reality is dangerous, even sinful. But what if the real, original sin was not disobedience, but blind acceptance? The final revelation in the manuscript was that Eden was never lost. It remains hidden in a higher frequency, waiting for those who can remember. And if this is true, then the reason we cannot find it is not because it is far away, but because we have been blinded to it. Alexander G. warned that those who start to wake up may face resistance. He believed that unseen forces work to suppress this knowledge, that throughout history, those who tried to reveal it were silenced, ridiculed, or worse. What if the very concept of heresy was created to prevent us from discovering our true nature? But the most haunting question of all is, why were we imprisoned here? If we were once beings of light connected to the divine, what was the true reason for our fall? The manuscript suggested that this was not an accident. It was a deliberate act. Someone, something, had an interest in keeping humanity under control. Some traditions speak of a war in the heavens, a rebellion that led to the separation of worlds. Could this be a symbolic retelling of a real event? If so, then humanity is not just lost. We are being held captive. And the most terrifying thought of all is that this system of control may be far older than we can imagine, existing for thousands, perhaps millions of years. Governments, religions, societal structures. What if they were all designed to reinforce this prison? And if the greatest illusion of all is that we are free, then what does that mean for us? Alexander G. disappeared without a trace, but his final message still lingers in the minds of those who read it. If what he revealed is true, then what is stopping us from remembering? That question lingers, haunting those who dare to connect the dots. What if the only thing we ever needed to escape was always within us, but we were taught never to look inside? If we are truly trapped in a spiritual prison, then liberation will not come from outside. There are no physical keys, no visible doors. The only way out is through awareness. But how many are willing to take that first step? The answer to that question may be the most well-guarded secret of all.